Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. This is a beautiful day in the nation's capital. I decided to dress in a little bit of a spring look. Speaking of that, we're going to talk about some spring fresh finds, some must-haves. Jeanette Ewan joining us on the show a little bit later on. We're also going to talk Ottawa Fringe. Their Undercurrents Festival is back. We've got all the details for you. And okay, it's a taboo subject. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's important to talk about it. And I'm talking about irritable bowel syndrome. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later on in the show because April is IBS Awareness Month. But we start off with one of our favorites here on Rogers TV because I know you've been watching the third season of Paula Roy's Favorite Foods right here on Rogers TV. 9 p.m. tonight is the next episode, and host Paula Roy joining us on the show. Paula, how you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Let's talk about this latest season. And I know you've been getting some great feedback, but share it with our viewers. You've been stopped on the streets.
It's really fun. I get a lot of feedback from people. Oh, I made the such and such recipe from last week's show, and I really loved it. And then I went to your website, and I found this recipe, and I think you should make that next season because it was really good. Even better than what you made on the show, or some such thing. So it's always positive feedback, and I really love it.
I love it. Well, what's on tonight's episode? Give us a little bit of a teaser.
Tonight is kind of a make-ahead themed meal, and so there's a really great salad, a super yummy fish dish that's ideal for people who maybe have trouble serving fish to their family. They haven't developed a taste for it yet, and a great dessert. And in fact, I have the dessert here to showcase. But I'm not going to tell people how to make it because you've got to watch the show tonight to find out. But it involves chocolate, lots of chocolate, and it's really good.
Okay, well, I think you've convinced people. There's no doubt about that. Again, that's happening at 9 p.m. But we wanted to take an opportunity to share a recipe. You know, Easter's just around the corner, and I know you've had a lot of emphasis on vegetables this season, Paula. What was the reasoning behind that?
Again, viewer feedback, and I just love, I mean, it's not quite the bulging mail sacks of yore, but it's kind of DMs on my social channels or even emails from people who I've interacted with before. And they're saying, you know, I need fresh inspiration. I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm trying to eat more vegetables. I just keep making them the same old way all the time. Can you show me some new ideas for working with vegetables? And I thought, all right, I'm on it.
It sounds like I'm actually sending some of those emails because I say the same thing to my family all the time. You know, we just seem to do things the same way. I notice you have some of those versatile, colorful carrots in front of you there. And again, I think people do them the same way too often. What would you suggest to people?
Well, carrots are great. They're kind of like potatoes in a way. You can prepare them so many ways, although I do not recommend mashed. I've tried it. It's not so good. And if you puree them like you might for, say, a turnip or a squash, it's going to make you think you're eating baby food, so I also don't recommend that.
Okay.
But what I do recommend is roasting them in an air fryer.
The air fryer, I was telling you off camera, that's one of the few gadgets that I have yet to purchase. You love this. What makes it such a great product to use, and how versatile is it, Paula?
Incredibly versatile. I roast whole chickens in there. I do fish for fish and chips. I do lots of vegetables. I even baked a cake in it one time just because the manual said you could and I didn't believe it. And guess what? You can. So the other thing that I like is it's super fast compared to a conventional oven and doesn't heat the house up. So in warm weather, I find that to be a real bonus if you don't want to crank the oven to 400 and have it churning away for half an hour, 40 minutes. So for example, the roast carrots I'm going to show take about a total of 10 to 12 minutes versus probably 25 minutes in a conventional oven.
All right, well, let's get started. Show us what you're going to prepare.
All right, so these are just inexpensive grocery store carrots. You can find fancier carrots at vegetable markets and so on, and those work fine, but nothing wrong with these babies.
Right.
And so you just need to peel them, cut them into uniformly sized pieces, and that's important whether you're cooking these in the oven, which the recipe explains how to do, or doing them in the air fryer. So whether you cut them across in like coins or discs or into strips, which is what I like because I find that they look prettier on the plate that way, it's your preference. And then you just put them in a bowl, put on just a little bit of olive oil. It's a surprising thing. People think when you're roasting vegetables, if you use more oil, the vegetables will be crispier, kind of like the deep frying methodology.
Right.
However, that's not the case. They're going to be soggy if you put on too much oil.
Okay.
So for about a pound of carrots, I think I used a tablespoon. into the air fryer. They go at 400 or into a 400-degree oven for, in the air fryer case, about 6 minutes, and you shake the basket once or so. Then they get dumped back into the same bowl, and you drizzle them with about a tablespoon of maple syrup. And I should mention that I like to add seasonings before they start cooking. Really big fan of ginger with carrots, really nice combination,
Nice.
plus a little salt and pepper. Back into the air fryer for about 4 minutes, and they come out just, I don't know how you would describe it. There's probably some Italian word for it. They're just kissed with a little bit of a char on them. So they're not overcooked. I'm just going to give them a shake here and put them out in our dish. But they're just tender and perfect and not overcooked. And I find that they feel like they have more taste than if they've been, say, boiled or roasted in the oven for a long time. And then last but not least, something that I really encourage people to think about with vegetables is a garnish. We think, oh, well, it's got maple syrup on it, that's enough.
Right.
But if you want to get people excited about eating vegetables, take it to the next step. So one of my favorites is some toasted panko.
Nice.
A little bit of olive oil in a frying pan and sprinkle that over. Or, because we're talking springtime, I have some little microgreens here. They're pea shoots, and they have just a really great flavor. And sprinkle those on top, bring it to the table, and it just looks like a really inviting dish, even for people who maybe aren't fans of carrots. And I'm speaking directly to my mother, who at 93 still doesn't like carrots.
Still,
she hasn't tried these ones yet.
I mean, after all the recipes that you must have shared with her all these years, she still doesn't like carrots. I can't believe it. Paula, always always a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us. Want to remind everybody, as Paula mentioned off the top, over 1,000 recipes available at her website, constantlycooking.com. And of course, you can stream her show here on Rogers TV at rogerstv.com. That's at 9 p.m. tonight. We'll be back with more right after this.